Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap. The fastest, slowest, shortest, longest half hour, 20 minutes, 10-minute summary you'll ever see. I don't know. We do have a lot of fun on this side. I will say that. And the cool part about playing from a position of strength where you don't have to worry about whether you're going to sell any subscriptions or whether there's going to be a big payday from some sort of corporate sponsor down the road is we're here having fun. We're just talking markets, talking trading. And today was such a great analogy where we had basically our two professional futures traders on the call, Kiran and Daniele. The dynamic duo. Just talking setups. I think both of them made some pretty good coin. Daniele made a killing on the ES yesterday, so I was really proud of him on that. And just talking markets. Some up, some down, some in, some out. We were talking quite a bit today about the seasonal nature of the gold market. How we're heading into that sort of friendly seasonal window here. So if you are a gold bug, this is when you want to pay attention. And of course, we had some pretty dramatic headline numbers hit the tape here. You're going to be hearing the talking heads in the media squawking about, double-digit annual inflation rates. That actually is definitely a possibility now, believe it or not. My hunch is over the next 6, 8, 12 months, we're probably going to have a lot of people in circles of authority actually questioning whether the Federal Reserve has fallen behind the curve, whether they are acting in the public's best interest, whether they're acting in the actual country's best interest, or whether they're just acting in the bankster's best interest. It'll be a fascinating time to be alive, that's for sure. It does remind me a lot of sort of the early 1980s type environment. I don't think it's in our best interest to come in and sort of say, this market shall top here. I don't see a top anywhere even close in the market. And like our breadth indicator, I mean, this shit, those are big fucking W's, excuse my French. But I think you got to respect that. And it was interesting as we're sort of talking away with the boys here today about their professional futures trading. And they're kind of like, man, I do not get in front of this thing because you're going to get hurt. Yeah, here's my sort of matrix of the bigger boys. ES just surging the new highs. You can see that volume, that breadth indicator data there. Jesus, this thing's unstoppable. The Dow actually pushing higher here. Look at the NASDAQ, Bezos and Gates and Zuckerberg and all them. Just unstoppable here. Interesting, the only part of the equity market that actually showing some weakness right now appears to be the small cap part of the market. So that does set very interesting sort of backdrop, because I think to a certain degree crypto is like the ultimate leading indicator of sort of risk in the space, in that sort of risk matrix. If we look at the market, I guess, along these kind of lines. I think to a certain degree, Bitcoin and crypto are sort of also sort of reiterating that sort of that small cap, the venture part of the market is a bit unsure right now. That's probably the best way I would describe this, is they're not quite sure. I was hoping that we were going to do things like inverted head and shoulders, as that would be predicated on these lows actually being higher than these lows. Doesn't look like that's playing out. So that's the case. I guess what this might actually turn into is kind of like an environment where people are running into big blue chip stocks as sort of like an inflation hedge, believe it or not, because at least they have earnings. Whereas a lot of these small cap, venture cap type names, they don't. I mean, we all know, of course, that crypto technically is a commodity, so it doesn't really have an underlying earning stream to support its valuations. But now you can sort of see on this ratio of sort of large caps versus small caps, I think we probably could take a serious stab back down into this reload zone here. It's a little disappointing. I was kind of hoping to see some action out of the small caps, but man, you know what it still is to me? It's not like, sometimes you get into an environment where a rising tide lifts all boats. That's not this type of environment. This type of environment is very story specific. I used to call it like stock pickers market. And if you happen to have, and also in crypto, I think same sort of thing, a coin pickers market. If you can sharpshoot, whether it be technical or fundamental or quantitative reasons, you got a pretty good idea something's going to outperform. That's the kind of environment that we're in. And it's actually interesting because I got a couple gold stocks that I bought last summer. They're just ripping it right now. And the stories coming out of the companies themselves, the numbers are just fantastic. Again, a stock pickers market, and also too, theoretically gold's heading into a seasonally friendly window here. So maybe kind of like a specialty situation kind of story in the gold market. That inflation number, I think, actually came in a little hotter than expected. It, like I said, it's going to raise a lot of eyebrows. What are the banksters doing to us here? Clearly, their actions are not justifiable in my eyes, based on things like what Stanley Druckenmiller says about retail sales expansion. I mean, this is just ridiculous what they're doing. So what a surprise. Now we're going to get runaway inflation because of this really, what I would consider actually fairly poorly founded fundamental justification for keeping money so loose here. If you are of the camp that really what the 1% are doing is nothing more than just resetting the financial system so that we can get ready for the next cycle of bullshit ahead of us, which is sort of like this, right? I think that cycle-wise, we are in this Great Depression, coming out of the Great Depression. In the Great Depression, they sacrificed the economy to maintain the purchasing power of the currency, or in essence, the capital stock of the country was maintained. Coming out of that Great Depression, of course, same sort of thing. There was a ton of debt on the books, lots of more bad mortgages. In fact, the U.S. government bought up a huge portion of the bad real estate in the Tennessee Valley Authority. This go round, the bank, and it turns out that was actually one of the most profitable trades the United States government ever did. Turns out this go round, the banksters saw that and said, fuck it, man. We're not letting the U.S. government get the money. What did they do? They did quantitative easing. All of the bonds were not put on the U.S. government's books. They were put on this Federal Reserve books, or basically the Fed wants to see those same profits that the U.S. government realized last go round. Long and short of it here is, why would, coming out of the Second World War, why would equity go up like this when technically on the other sides of major wars, there's usually pretty significant recessions? So that in itself, seeing that image, has got to sort of, make people scratch their heads. What the heck is going on here? And the answer, of course, is they dilute the currency, this thing over here that they're measuring it in, so the asset prices go up, not because the assets are more valuable, but because the thing that they're being priced in is less valuable. It's like an accounting trick what's going on here, folks. And I mean, fucking Ben Bernanke is the most trickiest accounting trickster you could ever imagine. And he came up with this idea of quantitative easing. And there is that same image. And, this is the post-Great Depression, 1950s, 60s economic expansion bullshit. There is that move higher in equity prices, and I think the exact same thing is going to happen in the stock market. The scary thing, though, is that this is on a relative basis taking out the currency dilution, and this is what the asset curve is supposed to look like. So considering that they are diluting their currency, what is this thing going to look like in real dollar terms? That's this image. Like, what's happening right now on the street? And look at this damn thing just going parabolic. I mean, where the hell is the top on this stock market at this rate? It's quite staggering. It's a bit sad because what it really means is that the US dollar here is basically in its final death throes. I don't know what the end game is, but my hunch is probably the end result of all this is things like cryptocurrencies are going to be included in some sort of basket so that the new currency base that we use, and it's probably going to be the US dollar index, but it's going to have assets that are actually of some value rather than just US treasuries backing it. Things like Bitcoin, maybe even Ethereum, who knows? Anyway, long and short of it here is what a difference. This is the real value of assets, right? Right there. We're nowhere near the dot-com peak in valuations. And this is the fugazi that they're trying to ram down our throat as what our real world actually looks like. And it's not like this at all. So sad. But oh well, what can you do? That's why we buy Bitcoins, right? Trying to hedge ourselves. So we got that insanity going on in the background. As I said, ironically enough, I'm still very much a U.S. dollar index bull, and because this is a U.S. dollar index, I mean, like I said, they might throw fucking Bitcoins in this index to make sure that it stays the world hegemony. You never know. But I am a U.S. dollar index bull, but you know, this is more along the lines of what the hell's going on in the rest of the world. I don't know whether you've seen, like South Africa right now is basically deteriorating into chaos. It's outside that G7 sort of umbrella fiat currencies. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of sort of Central and South America, Africa, Asian countries outside of this sort of close-knit US dollar index world not having vaccinations. In fact, I'm even hearing now that if you don't have a very specific type of vaccination, you still won't be allowed in things like Europe, even though theoretically you got vaccinated with the AstraZeneca vaccine. Too bad. Meaningless. So that's the kind of world we're in here, folks. This could get really crazy before the end of this is over. And over the next couple of years, I think the peak of the crisis actually is this time next year. So we still got another year of this insanity and Brian ranting endlessly at the internet here. You got another year of this ahead of you. So strap on, folks. There's the stock market powering to new highs. Crude oil market firm again. Oh, goodness. Bond market actually looking a little waffly. That's a 5-bar fractal reversal now on the bonds. And of course, they're not going to like the fact that the stocks are moving higher, and they're not going to like the fact that inflation is now runaway. Oh, man, be damn careful if you are a bond investor. And there's our funny gold. And believe it or not, I got stopped out on a silver trade that I strapped on last week, but shit, that happens in a trader's life all the time. Just get used to it if you want to play this game. But I am getting more and more interested in this gold market, especially with this time of year. And, you know, those sort of like almost hyperinflation numbers. I mean, core PCE inflation month over month gains are like 0.9%, or basically annualized. That's like double-digit inflation gains. Fuck you. Thank you so much, Mr. Powell. Thank you so much, Yellen. When they're yelling, you should be selling. Just remember that, folks. I think Grandma's got one hell of a nightmare in store for us ahead. And the sad part about it is, you know, 10, 20 years from now, the future that they're laying, these people are all going to be dead. And they're not going to have any fucking repercussions of what they put into place here today, which pisses you off. But oh well, what can you do? Anyway, I've got a caraway seed stuck in my bridge work. Sorry. Okay, back on topic. Over here, bonds and gold. I mean, I was kind of conjecturing that gold looked troublesome here. I did like that inflation number. Man, that was a big ass ugly number. And I also noticed, and actually what I wanted to show you was some of my gold stocks that I do like, they're actually starting to put in things like W's. So AEM is my favorite gold stock of late. Agnico Eagle remind me of Ronnie Backman. And hello, that looks like it's trying to W. Look at what's going on down here. W's. Not really a big volume breakout, but it's definitely in the early stages of smattering of something's going on there. So you can see the only part of the market that's actually green today is the gold and the silver, and not even so much the silver, just the gold. As I said, I got stopped out on this this silver trade there just a few days ago. I'm not ready to really get excited about silver just yet, but I do kind of like the story in the gold pits right now. This is starting to really get my attention, especially yeah, like here the Canadian gold stock. That's actually got an outright double bottom working there, so that is getting my attention. Um, as well too some of the junior gold stocks that we picked up last summer. In fact, there's a bunch of gold stocks that I am shopping for right now, but that's for down the road. But the names that we did pick up last year that are sitting substantially higher now, they're now they're coming out with drill results, and oh man, they are looking good. And like this Goliath, I got a funny feeling this Goliath, you're gonna be hearing more and more about this Goliath. The property that they came out with is just, the numbers were staggering. It's a beautiful looking chart. And I think this thing's got a lot of room to the upside still. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to get a lot more outperformance out of this thing. And those kind of names, really, really interesting. Actually, the Sky Gold's come back down into a level. No, actually, it's still a bit expensive. So can't really do anything on any of these on the buy side. So the one thing I would say is I do like crypto, but it still feels like this is like we're from Missouri and somebody's just waiting on something here. So I did notice that some of the juniors that went zipping up here, they've taken the fluff right out of these stocks and out of the market, and they're right back down to the bottoms. But hopefully you can see, this is a concept that we teach in our level 1 program, higher lows and higher highs. Even though the stock itself is making lower highs and lower lows, that's bullish divergence. So you can see it hasn't confirmed just yet. We have to get the divs up through here. But you can see that these markets are getting washed out. I mean, is there a realistic chance for a bounce back to 50% rules here? Absolutely. And we're in July. I mean, usually the silly season for crypto is like the end of July, beginning of August. So I can see the next bottoms forming, like this coin. I went and bought a whack of it for my own account. I bought some for TRI. Same sort of logic here. It looks to me like they're trying to form some sort of bottom, and I wouldn't be surprised we're back up around 300, 400 through the summer, filling in gaps, that kind of stuff. Not really, pound the table buy. Sort of like, if there is material weakness, I want to be in there on the buy side. So that's probably the way I'd look at it. I'm from Missouri. Show me the W's, and all right, I'll take a shot. But just like the silver, just understand the type of trader I am. The market says, Brian, sorry, you're wrong. Get the fuck out. I will get out, and get out quickly. So it's just the way I am. There's lots of these little names. This one's so cool. You tell me, has that thing got any room to move up? We've been popping these, and Kevin tells me that these things have become now meme stocks. I mean, this is exactly the same image. It's just this is after the fact. So we just missed our next order to sell. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing's got more room to the upside. But, I mean, look at this. This is crazy. But the funny thing is you can't buy that one expecting to see that happen again. The story's over. But look at that little guy just sitting there. He's just sitting there going, well, are you a risk taker? Do you play the market? Do you know what to look for on things that just might pop here for you? I mean, I got to tell you, even in crypto, think I went and bought this EOS recently. It's just, are you a risk taker? Can you come in? Look at this thing. It was 14, 15 bucks there just a few weeks ago. Now it's like $3 or $4. But did the end of the world happen or something? But you can see the W's. There's no guarantees from management, but is it going to be shocking when you hear Brian talking about banging out doubles and this thing's just doing nothing more than 50% retracements? I'm not saying it's going to a new high, but I can definitely see a nice little technical bounce here through the summer silly season. What's the 50% rule? 50% rule is $9.19. I come in here, buy a little bit at $4. I'll be selling at $8. That's even ahead of the 50% bounce level. So that's the kind of market it is, folks. Oh, I noticed Kevin's test. Here's another one. You look at it like that. Okay, it's okay. But, zoom out. Has this thing got any room to move up here? Look at the volume coming in here. Kevin, how does that thing go? Volume speaks what? Is he here?
Volumes.
There he is. Volumes. Look at that. I don't know what's going to happen here, but as a professional risk taker, I have to be on the long side there. So we'll see how it goes. And of course, if you hear Brian banging on doubles, don't be surprised. It's just stuff like this. I just do this day in, day out. Yeah, so there you go. Also, too, it does feel very summer doldrumsy. Look at it. On balance, most of the screen is either red or unchanged or stuff. So it's not like, oh, my God, it's a hurry. You got to go and buy. No. Look, you can even see big stocks. This is what the public's in right now. They're not doing anything in the stock market. They're just, spinning their wheels. So definitely a coin picker's market. We've got our TRI secret options formula meeting tonight, so we should have some really great stuff to chew on. Kevin will do a daily brief summary of that tomorrow, so super stoked for that. And I don't think you really need to hurry. I'm from Missouri. Remember that kind of thing? Show me good-looking W's, and I might go and throw a bit of money at this. But it's not like it's like, oh, my God, I got to go bet the farm today. There's your report. Sure hope you got some value out of it. Check out, come and try out our 30-day trial kind of idea. Karen and Daniele did their professional futures traders report this morning, so you can hear what a couple pro futures traders are up to. First thing in the morning, you can listen to a little rant from Brian. And, actually tomorrow, like I said, you come on the 30-day trial. Kevin will give you a nice rundown of what we're looking at in the Secret Options Formula Club meeting. That's tonight. Look at this little one. What a cutie little cutie. Nobody's talking about KINZ. I don't know what the hell this is, but damn, look at that. And the thing's going to go popping up here, and then everybody's going to be all excited. There's so many of these. Look at that little one. Oh, my goodness. They're just sitting there. That's the kind of market it is, folks. Get out there and have some fun. PMA for the win. Don't take no wooden nickels. Yeah, Kevin, if you could take us on out of here, I'd appreciate it. The only thing left for Brian to say here now is bye for now.